Take two, John Cast podcast. I recorded a podcast. I did it on StreamYard. And then I listened to it, and it just cuts in and out the whole time. So I'm re-recording this podcast. You can tell how thrilled I am to do that. I don't know how to record a podcast. How do you record something that you did on the fly, and then you're just supposed to like do it again? But I tried listening to the podcast, and I wanted to throw my phone against the wall. So thanks, StreamYard. And yeah, I'm taking it out on StreamYard because that's the platform I'm using. Coming up on today's podcast, you'll hear a couple clips from Kelly Sheffield talking about Grace Egan's injury and how she's been handling that, and also Madison Quest and just how well that she has been filling in. Also, a Kelly Sheffield story about when he was a kid. He tells it on the Kelly Sheffield Show. I'll retell it here for you. Plus, we'll hear from Jada Trilia before the Rutgers match, in case you missed it in my pre-match interview, and also you will hear from Madison Quest before the Iowa match, in case you missed it. Okay, so a couple of things I wanted to talk about. What did I talk about before? Okay, so Madison Quest. Shout out to Madison Quest, 2.3 kills per set and a 407 hitting percentage. We talked a lot about Quest on this week's Kelly Sheffield Show, which, by the way, airs tomorrow, 6 p.m. So I'm recording this for the second time. Thanks, StreamYard. I'm recording this for the second time, but tomorrow is Thursday. So at 6 p.m., it's the Kelly Sheffield Show live on ESPN Madison. Then at 6:30, it's the pre-match show, 7:05, Wisconsin versus Illinois. That's also on the ESPN Wisconsin app. I know last week, too, we were off the air in Madison. We were on the app only, but we were on the air in Milwaukee. So this week, we're on the air, I think, everywhere. ESPN Madison, WTMJ, 620 WTMJ. So switch it over to AM. To listen to that if you're in the Milwaukee area. And then I believe we're on in Beaver Dam too. I believe that's Friday and Sunday. Also, I know on the last time I recorded this podcast, I gave a shout out to Kevin Schultz for this hat. Look at my hair. Oh, it's ugly. This is like a limited edition hat, I guess, but thank you, Kevin. What else did I do on the previous podcast? Let me think here. Yeah, so there's the shout out to Kevin, but we're on the air. I was talking about the Kelly Sheffield Show. Kelly Sheffield Show will be on this podcast as well as the YouTube channel for ESPN Madison on Thursday night. So if you missed it on the air at 6 p.m. on Thursday night, the Kelly Sheffield Show, you can listen on this podcast to the Kelly Sheffield Show. Speaking of Kelly Sheffield, let's take a listen to some of the clips from the show from we recorded earlier today. And he kind of gives some insights into Madison Quest and just how dedicated she is to being her best now that the opportunity is here with her in the starting lineup. Here's head coach Kelly Sheffield.
What time are we taping this? It's 8 o'clock, and I walked through the field house on my way to the office, and she's down there with John Shondell getting reps right now. On what day are we at? This is Wednesday. Mm-hmm. Yesterday morning at Tuesday, I walk through the field house even earlier, and guess who's in there with John Shondell getting extra reps? It's she wants to be great. She's going to be a great player for us, and she's got what two starts under her belt right now in her college career, and she's a sponge. She's taking everything in, and she's just going to keep getting better and better because it's really important to her.
I think that's so cool that she's spending that extra time to get those reps in and to become a better player. And obviously a lot of players in the past have done that. And I remember Kelly telling a story about Sydney Hilly, I believe it was, that she was either in before or after practice getting extra reps. So just kind of following the footsteps of all these great players. And, Sid wasn't the first, isn't the last to get extra reps. Same thing with Madison, but it kind of shows you where their mindset is. And it's really cool to hear that for Madison Quest. Speaking of mindsets, how is Grace Egan doing? Egan has missed 2 straight matches, and she's going to miss more. Kelly Sheffield talks about how it's not a season-ending injury here in this clip, but kind of just talks about Grace Egan and how she's been handling having to be out, not on the court with their teammates.
It's always tough for an athlete when not able to do what they love to do, and they're watching their teammates and fighting, and they want to be out there, whether they're a starter or they're not a starter. It's always tough for everybody. Some people gets to be really, really tough, that they just, most people are just, but it's going to be hard on everybody. And she wants to be out there, but Grace, I love her spirit. She just has such a positive, optimistic spirit about her. Mm-hmm. You can tell she's really bummed that she's, she's had health issues her first couple of years. This is year 3 of her college career that she's had to deal with something, and fatigue starts to set in a little bit for some people, but she's probably handling this about as well as what about anybody can. But there's also, light at the end of the tunnel that she's going to be out there again this season. So it's not a season lost by any means. And I think that we'd be talking about something different if that was the case.
There you go. That's head coach Kelly Sheffield talking about Grace Egan. Once again, stressing it's not a season-ending injury, which is great. Also on the Kelly Sheffield Show, and you'll hear this in tomorrow's podcast or on the air on ESPN Madison, he talks about a story too that I wanted to share with everybody when there was a young Kelly Sheffield. Now I have a still shot of what I'm going to be talking about on my X account. So go scroll through that and you'll find this. And Kelly was a young lad at the 1985 NBA All-Star game in Indianapolis. And he worked his way down from the top section of the arena all the way down to the arena level and got by security. And you can YouTube the 1985 NBA All-Star game and go to the very end of it when there's a few seconds left in the game, and you can see Kelly in the background of these shots. They show Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, but Kelly went down there because I don't know why he went down there, but he tells the story a lot better than I am right now. So I definitely check out tomorrow's podcast, but he asks Kareem Abdul-Jabbar for an autograph, and Kareem's like, "No, man, I'm busy," and kind of looks back like, "What is this kid doing down here?" And I thought it's just the coolest story. And to see the evidence that this happened on the video. And once again, I have the screenshots on my X account at JONARIAS radio. It's really, really funny to me. And my hope is that Kareem Abdul-Jabbar somehow finds out about this story and some 40 years later is able to give Kelly an autograph somehow. That's my hope. Can we make that happen? Can someone make that happen? Does anyone know Kareem Abdul-Jabbar? That would be great if you could pass this along to him. All right. So there's that story that you can listen to on the Kelly Sheffield Show. Okay. Let's take a listen to my first interview. Now, this is on Friday, Big Ten opener. This is against Rutgers, and I had a chance to speak with Wisconsin DS Jada Trilia.
So you have a family connection to the university, but how were you able to join your parents' footsteps and be part of this Wisconsin Badger volleyball team this year? How'd that process work out for you?
Oh my gosh. Well, first of all, it's been a dream come true to be able to kind of continue the family legacy here, and because Badger Red literally runs in my blood. It's been so cool, especially because my mom played her first year and I'm playing my last, so I'm kind of finishing what she started in a sense. I think it's really awesome because sometimes she thinks it doesn't mean as much because she only played a year, but I'm doing the same thing. So it's really cool that we get to share that, and then kind of following in my dad's footsteps as far as his leadership went. I think that's something I have always looked up to, and then as well as my brother, he also played a year here, so it's just been really awesome.
How would you describe yourself as a player?
I would say I am a light on the team. I'm always very bubbly. My personality is really fun. I get along with everybody. I think I'm kind of a grandma on the team. Obviously, I'm a fifth year, so I can bring some experience, but also just that fun piece of it, and just kind of remind everybody that this is a dream and not to take it for granted.
Talking with Jada Trilia, so it's been well documented. You love social media. You're really active on there. What is it that drew you kind of to that aspect of things, and how do you want to use that in your career after volleyball?
Yeah, so I started the social media stuff when I was in high school. I was making vlogs of all of our club tournaments. And once I was done with club, I was like, well, I love this so much. I need to keep this going. And I just love being able to share my life with others, especially the young athletes that look up to us. I think it's a really cool way to connect with them. And in the future, I'm planning on going into sports media. So once I graduate, I'll be working within social media and doing photography and videography and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, being that fun personality is really fun.
Be doing that for the Badgers? For volleyball?
Yes, maybe. We'll talk to Kelly, see what he says about that. But that's the plan, is to stay within Wisconsin and work within the athletic department.
That'd be very cool. Some random questions. So,
Okay.
What position would you love to play if you weren't a back row player, and why?
Okay, I would say an outside. I've always wanted to be able to hit, and I think playing outside, you could play obviously back row and front row, so it kind of bring both positions together. And just to be able to wail on the ball, I think would be so fun.
Would you rather have an ace or a pancake?
Ace, for sure. For sure, yeah.
When you're ordering would you ever have an acai bowl or a smoothie?
Ooh, a smoothie. Yeah, yep.
What is your go-to coffee drink?
Okay, since it's fall, I'm going to go a pumpkin cold brew with pumpkin cold foam on top.
Now, I asked this to Carter, and I know you guys, as the seniors, love to watch this television show. Team Conrad or Team Jeremiah?
Easiest answer of the whole entire day, Team Conrad.
Thanks, Jada.
You're welcome.
That question was put in by my daughter, the Team Conrad or Team Jeremiah. I still don't know exactly what I'm talking about. So there you go. Also, I realized I said acai bowl weird. I didn't realize it in the moment, but this is something I said on the now limited edition podcast that may not be heard by everybody because it had audio issues from StreamYard. Acai bowl is a new thing, right? I never grew up with acai bowls. I didn't know what they were. All of a sudden, people are just like, "Hey, how about these acai bowls?" I had no idea how to pronounce it, so it's always been kind of a weird word. But acai, I think I said acai. I don't even know what I said. I just listened to it. I still don't know what I said. All right, there you go. That's Jada Trilia. Meanwhile, before the start of the Iowa match, I had a chance to catch up with Madison Quest, who has now filled in 2 matches for Grace Egan, 2.3 kills per set and a .407 hitting percentage during that time. And here's my conversation with the Badgers freshman. So why did you choose to come to Wisconsin?
I from being from Wisconsin, I feel like, I was always from here, both my parents going to school here, always went to games and all this stuff. And during my recruiting process, I never had a dream school or somewhere where I really wanted to go. And then so I went to a couple different camps, kind of looking at what other colleges were out there, because I honestly didn't really know what other campuses looked like. And I think once I started looking at other campuses, then I really found how special Wisconsin was and how much I loved the school, and then also how much I valued everything that this program stands for.
What was it like? Were there nerves for you getting into your first college start against Rutgers on Friday?
Something I would say how I've always been is I honestly don't get really too nervous or too high on my emotions. So I was really excited and but honestly not too nervous. So yeah.
When I'm watching you as a player, I feel like you've just got a variety of skills. You're tough up front at the net. You can obviously terminate and things like that. What do you feel are your strongest attributes as a player?
I would say overall I'm a very well-rounded player, so I would say probably that is one of my best strong suits, just being able to my ball control I'd say is pretty good, and just being able to kind of better the ball, whether it's a set, finding kind of open shots or seeing the court well. I would say those are kind of areas where I think I'm pretty good.
Talking with Madison Quest, I've got some rapid fire type of questions, so feel free to go as long as you want. Number one, do you have a nickname?
A lot of people call me Quest or Questy.
Questy, okay. Now, Kelly, in the post-match press conference, he called you Mad Dog.
Yeah, so Kelly has assigned the nickname Mad Dog for me, so that is Kelly's nickname for me. Otherwise, some of the other coaches call me Quest or Questy.
What's the place you want to visit the most?
Ooh. I want to go to Greece.
Okay. Why Greece?
I just think it's pretty.
Okay. Is there any other type of, that might be on a bucket list, but do you have any bucket list type of items?
I tried surfing one time in Mexico, and that was really cool, and I want to do that again. Okay. Otherwise, honestly, anything. I think traveling and doing different things are really cool. But yeah.
Do you have any pets?
I have 2 dogs. They're both labs.
Okay. Names?
Coda and Charlie.
Coda and Charlie. And then finally, let's see here. Let's ask you, favorite part about Madison. What do you love about the city of Madison? Madison?
I love just, like, I think in the summer there's so much to do and it's so beautiful just being the outdoors, and I think the lake is gorgeous and there's so much that revolves around the lake and it's so calming, and I have always grown up around a lake, so I think that is probably my favorite part.
Thank you.
Thank you.
There you go. That's Madison Quest in my pre-match interview against before Iowa. Okay, so coming up this week. Oh, you know what? I want to do something else first. Want to give a shout out because I was going to say you can follow, like, support this podcast. I've got my NIL link. I call it my NIL link. I've got that. And you can sponsor the next podcast. And since I'm having to re-record this podcast because of audio issues, shout out to Ty. Ty's going to get 2 shout outs. Ty, you are going to get the sponsorship of my next podcast. How about that? If you want to sponsor my next podcast and get a shout out, or I don't know, whatever you might be, maybe you have a business and you want to shout out, sponsor my podcast, sponsor the next episode. Ty, shout out to you now, and a shout out to you to the next podcast as well. Thank you for supporting the NIL. Volleyball Thursday on ESPN Madison and the ESPN Wisconsin app, 620 WTMJ and ESPN Beaver Dam. Thursday, you can listen to it with the Kelly Sheffield Show at 6. Pre-match at 6:30, first serve at 7:05. Then Sunday at 1 p.m. against Michigan. Pre-match show at 12:30, also on ESPN Madison, 620 WTMJ in Milwaukee and in Beaver Dam as well. So thank you for listening. ESPN Wisconsin app too. Thank you for listening to this re-record. Sorry, I did the recording. I uploaded it. I got everything ready, and then I pushed play, and then it was, and then I thought, well, that's crummy. How do I redo something live? So then I had other stuff to do, and now I came back, and now I'm re-recording it, and it's not the same, but it is what it is. Kelly Sheffield Show podcast drops tomorrow, so listen to that. That one's good. Okay, thanks for listening to this edition of the John Cast Podcast. Take 2. Goodbye.